Hey guys, George from SME here, and today I'm bringing you some exciting news from the world of SME. Now, as you all know, the world of technology and BI moves at such a quick pace that sometimes it may be hard to stay on top of everything. Well, lucky for you, not only has SME stayed on top of it, but we're actually incorporating new areas of business intelligence into our services, partnerships, and product offerings. And we all know that there's so many tools out there that sometimes it may be hard to kind of pick one. Well, SME is actually looking into the pain points behind these before selecting partnerships or products, so that way you can deliver the best services available for our customers and the ideal solution to fit their needs. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover what I like to call the SME BI value quadrants, which are 4 areas of expertise where SME really shines at delivering BI solutions to our customers. And then after this, we're going to do a video for each of the 4 quadrants. We'll do a deep dive into those partnerships, services, and products. So let's go ahead and pull up this Prezi that I've created, where we're going to cover the 4 different BI quadrants. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So in our BI quadrants, we've got all of the different areas of the data journey. It starts with data storage and processing, where you're going to put your data. And then you have to integrate it with your downstream applications. And what's more important is that you have to have governance and literacy, because people aren't understanding the data, that they're not going to make actionable decisions off of this. And then finally, you have the final layer, which is the data analytics and reporting. So let's go ahead and start with data storage and processing, because there's a lot of solutions here. So when we talk about where we're putting data, people are usually thinking of 3 things: a database, a data lake, and a data warehouse. And each of these are very important. But what's more important is having that data accessible from these destinations. We need to make sure that even if our data exceeds terabytes or petabytes, that we're able to access it in real time as well as ingest it in real time. So that's where our partnership with MemSQL really comes in. They're delivering a real-time OLTP database that has the fastest ingest on the market, as well as the ability to query across billions, trillions of rows of data with sub-second results. And the best part is that it has flexible deployment options, whether it's on-prem, in the cloud, managed service, or even if you wanted to do it in Docker and Kubernetes, you're able to deploy a modern database in the time of now and have the flexibility to have it anywhere. Now, moving into the more OLAP side of things, or a data warehouse, where you're able to consolidate data from all of your different sources into one data warehouse where you're able to prepare data marts. And this is where our newest partnership, Snowflake, comes into play. So I'm sure everyone's heard about Snowflake and understands how it's changing the market, but Snowflake really shines at being able to provide a auto-scaling technology in a cloud data warehouse, where you essentially have storage and compute separated, so you only pay for what you use. And this allows customers to essentially maximize their cost savings by just running their warehouse jobs at specific times of the day, and they're only being charged for those times, not the rest of the day. So very interesting technology, and I can't wait to dive into this partnership more with you guys in the next video. And then finally, as part of SME's hosting options, we have a storage layer of data lake, which is the ability to essentially put data of any file types into a data lake and have that accessible for all your downstream applications. So right here we use S3 because we use AWS as our preferred cloud partner, but SME does a lot of work with Azure and Google Cloud as well. So you have the flexibility to deploy your applications and your data in any cloud that is of your choosing. So moving back, let's go into data integration and automation. So what SME is doing in this space is essentially providing solutions for our customers to have their data accessible wherever. So taking it from the MemSQLs or your databases, or even your applications such as Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo, and having them push to any data warehouse, any database, any data lake. And this is where our partnership with Precog really comes in play, where you have a universal data movement tool that is, regardless of whether your data is coming from or regardless of where your data is going, you're able to provide a solution to move that data as quickly as possible, never at rest, to those destinations. And SME has incorporated Precog as part of its newest data movement services offering, which is a SaaS-based offering to allow you to move your data to essentially any destination from any API, any NoSQL, SQL database, to all of your destinations, whether it be a BI tool, reporting, even something like ThoughtSpot. It has a direct connection there, which is what our customers are really liking nowadays. But Also, we also incorporate Qlik's data integration platform into our data integration and automation offering, because sometimes you need something a little bit more robust, such as change data capture or data warehouse automation or data lake automation. So what this allows you to do is move your data from your source systems in real time using change data capture technology to your data warehouses and data lakes, and using automated ETL, you're able to land it into those data marts without writing a single line of code. So very interesting stuff, and I really can't wait to go into that in the next in a few videos from now. So let's now go into data governance and literacy, because these are two topics that kind of blend both the technical and the non-technical side of things in terms of how users are able to interpret the data. So the first is providing a data catalog for the end user to be able to go in and shop for data that they know is trusted. And that's where Qlik Data Catalyst, now called Qlik Data Catalog, comes into play. We are able to provide a catalog for the enterprise, onboarding data, separating the bad and ugly data to be cleaned and then re-merged. And then again, shopping experience. Everybody's used to it. Everybody can go relate to it and pick the data that they want, knowing that this data is correct, it's trusted, and they can use it in their applications confidently. Then you also have Platform Manager, which is a version control and lineage generator for Qlik Sense and Qlik View. So this is a great tool in being able to provide the admins of those Qlik environments with more tools to be able to have faster deployments, faster migrations, better version control over your applications in terms of what changed without having to do a bunch of documentation, as well as track the lineage of your application to see what other applications are involved, what QBDs, any data sources. So Platform Manager is a great partner of SMEs that we've seen very successful at all of our customers. And then finally, we have the data analytics and reporting quadrant, which is probably what we're known best for. And we actually have a lot of partners in this space because there are a lot of different offerings when it comes to how you want to report on your data. So ThoughtSpot is search at scale, being able to query across billions of rows of data without the need for a SQL knowledge or a developer. The user essentially can go to a Google-like search bar and search across their data, billions of rows, sub-second results, with AI engines behind the scenes to help provide a helping hand when discovering the data. Then you also have the Qlik Sense Analytics Suite, which is essentially a bunch of different tools that are working together to provide pixel-perfect dashboards and reporting and alerting for your users. It's a very robust system. They're constantly innovating and adding new products to the portfolio, and it's really just been a hit with all of our longstanding customers. On top of that, we also partnered with Vizlib to provide extensions and best-in-class value-add products for Qlik Sense. So these include financial reporting, self-service reporting, Gantt charts, and their newest collaboration bundle, which includes a bunch of different things, including input forms, write-back tables, chatbots. It's all great stuff, and we're happy to be including them into our Qlik Sense offering. And then finally, we also work with Microsoft Power BI for interactive immersive dashboards. So Power BI is a leader in the Magic Quadrant for data analytics and reporting, and it does really work well with a lot of organizations that are using Microsoft products, integrating it with things such as Excel, Office 365. It really knows no limits, especially when deployed in the Azure environment. So we're happy to be working with them. So that's it, guys. That's all I've got for this video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bounce it back to me. And in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to cover data storage and processing. We're going to dive into the database, the data warehouse, as well as the data lake layer, and talk about how SME is deploying these solutions for our customers and why we selected the partners that we did. So that's it for me, guys. If you guys want to learn more about us in the meantime, you can go to our website at smesgroup.com, where we've got a lot of articles, we've got blogs, we've got videos, as well as you can reach out to us directly right there. So I'm hoping to see you guys on the next video. I'm really excited to kick this series off. But until next time, have a good one.